ASL Prime League.
And gentlemen, welcome back to the ASL Prime League Season 5 broadcast here of Group C. We have the elimination match right here before you. One of these players is going home, and the other one will be going to face off against Soxery in a TVZ. Will it be this guy in the top right, representing that nice light teal, light blue? It is going to be
Prime Clan KeeN.
While in the bottom left-hand corner, sporting the tried and true straight up blue, he's Captain America. This is
CM Storm Polt.
Man, oh man, oh man. This is it, man. Polt's life, or KeeN's life, which one of them ends here? And cross position, by the way, too. So we've had the... I don't know if we call it the luxury, I guess, of having another cross position here on this map.
I'm fine with it.
Me too.
I'm fine with seeing some macro Polt. Those of you who were with us in the round of 16, well, boy, oh boy, you may remember that KeeN didn't actually play any Terrans, so we can't really draw any meaningful conclusions.
Oh, true. Yeah.
However, Polt played a particular Terran named Heart. He indeed 2-0'd Heart, and he indeed opened almost essentially the exact same way. 11 gas, 13 racks is what Polt loves to do. That's what we're, again, seeing out of him here. Starts up a second gas as his factory is nearing completion. We have got some, not extremely fast double gas, but certainly not delayed.
Mm-hmm. Well, he makes the Reaper first as well, huh? He's making a second one here. Did he do this? This is a little bit different than what he did, I believe. But adding that second gas makes me curious. Will he drop down next? What an opener. Okay, let's see how much success he will have with it here.
Into a 1-1.
Reapers against 4 Marines.
The really important thing for Polt, he has kind of identified basic information about his opponent. Because, if you lose an SCV on one side of the map, you're probably pretty sure where that opponent spawned. He really does need to spot the tech lab that just finished up for KeeN. He's going to be like, all right, you didn't go Reaper, you've got a bunch of Marines, that limits the number of options for your openers. But he doesn't know for sure what it's going to be.
Yeah, he doesn't know at all. Is this going to be some kind of cool pressure here that we see out of Polt? And usually you use it to scout anyway, too, so...
There we go.
Right, he's going for a Raven, safe, and then Polt's the one going for the Banshee.
Oh my, yeah, actually, I got those flip-flopped. I mean, you got the light blue versus the darker blue.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't help at all, now, does it, in the mirror match?
Yeah, no, that is not what I was necessarily expecting. So, yeah. I'm assuming that Polt is committing to this because he's like, well, I've already started it, and maybe he's building a Banshee as well. Just without cloak.
Well, yeah, sometimes you will see that after it. Like you see the Raven Viking, and then later in the game, all of a sudden comes out a Banshee. And it's just like, okay.
It
catches them off guard, too.
Is Polt going to start his own Raven as well? He's like, no, I need 2 Banshees.
Wow. Well, he is going to go in there, get the full scout, sees that there was a Raven, but he sees it upgrading from the tech lab. That could be a trick here out of KeeN, but it also could, just be because he wants to get a Banshee after it.
Raven and Viking will help him stay safe against Polt's own Banshees, and he's not canceling that cloak. He's continuing to research it. Polt is indeed going to be looking for that Banshee pressure. His second one is going to be popping on out. We did see him do this versus KeeN in the first set. Actually, I think it was this map. Very different spawn positions, but just didn't really work out too well. KeeN was good enough to defend, and I'm assuming KeeN, with the with the kind of, preparation that he's been able to do, he will be just fine.
Yeah. We'll see, though. I mean, it's all up to execution as well. Like, KeeN is ready for this, you know? He has the Marines that he needs. He doesn't have to defend 2 bases at all. Even though he doesn't have a turret, he does have that Raven, and he just has the Viking, too. So everything is out there for KeeN that says, I should not take any damage from this at all. And what is that the same? Is that the same here for Polt, though, you know? Has 2 bases to defend, no turret, no engineering bay, period. And only a few Marines here, and no Viking either, so...
He's going to be relying on those scans, which is, you know, maybe a little bit unfortunate. He does have the Raven, so as long as he can get his Marines within range of that Banshee, he should be absolutely fine. However, I don't know that the Banshee from KeeN is actually moving out anywhere.
I don't even think he made
Cancel
it. Yeah, he canceled both the Cloak and the Banshee.
Oh, okay, so he just did like a super late cancel? Weird, I didn't actually notice that. However, good old Polt starting up that stem. He is not going to be playing any sort of mech.
Like our buddy boy over here possibly could be doing here as he continues to make Vikings and drops down another factory. So, this is some late game stuff too. Excuse me. Putting down a 3rd command center already. He's going to just maybe defend, deflect what it is that Polt sends at him, get a sick economic lead, and just have the superior army here as Polt is going to be kind of dropping him and pushing him, seeing where he's weak and unsieged.
Marauder-heavy forces are typically what we see out of our bio player. He needs something to be able to snipe those tanks quickly to deal with all of the mech options that KeeN will have, because certainly running large amounts of Marines into tank fire is not the best way to handle it. So right now we do have 2 Marauders at a time, but Polt, he's no slouch. He's going to be mixing in some tanks as well.
Yeah. So, that Banshee tried to get chased away. I mean, there could be a scan here. Don't even know if there is one up here for KeeN. There it goes. Oh, no, but he uses it to see what is going on in Polt's base, so...
He's like, oh, you're playing bio. There is, you know, 50-something energy left on this Banshee, so it's not going to be decloaking any quick moment. Another Banshee going to be stepping on forward, get itself a couple of Marine kills, maybe even take out a Hellion, but if it wants to get the Hellion, it'll have to sacrifice its life. There we go. Polt drawing away some of the forces of his opponent, trying to just kind of run around the entire map with his Banshees.
Yeah, keeping them both alive is a pretty impressive move there, especially because he did almost run out of energy on that one on the left side. But I don't think he realizes that the Vikings are on the hunt, so... He's trying to be a little bit sneaky, but he's not... Oh my god, it turns around right at the last second. That Viking. He had one job!
The, like, anti-star sense coming out from KeeN. So close.
But, you know, it's not the end of the world. KeeN is going to be able to take his own 3rd. Polt is just now only... Well, not beginning it, but about to complete the command center of it, but not the orbital. And, yeah, you called it, man. Marauder production 2 at a time.
He doesn't have concussive shells or +1 just yet, so he may be looking to kind of siege up and contain a little bit until those 2 upgrades finish up, because certainly +1, he would love to have it. He's got to stall for about another 30 seconds, and of course we get the dance of the siege tanks. Neither one of these wants to just waltz into the open arms of the other.
No. All of Polt's these things are in one place, so could cause a little bit of an issue if KeeN were able to get a nice position. Gonna take a little bit of damage. Oh, whoa, sloppy kind of stim there from Polt.
He's pushing forward with a couple of bio units. Oh, he commits to get that one tank after kind of awkwardly stepping forward.
Tripped over the siege tank. You didn't see where it was lodged in the ground. And just like tripped over it, almost bit the dust. But point defense drone is so important here since he does not have any semblance of air control here.
Polt has to be so careful with his Marines. One misstep and he may end up losing a chunk of them. More Marauders going to be coming out now, 4 at a time. He's increasing his production just a little bit there. And then, of course, more Marines going to be joining up with this army. Polt is starting to fly across his 3rd to actually begin to kind of match the mining bases of his opponent.
And no economy has been disrupted here by either player. It's more so just about All right, I cannot let him get into a really good position,
Polt
but
steps
Polt is going.
forward.
Yep.
Hellbat's going to be dropping directly on top of the bio, and there's going to be a couple of multi-gunner turrets as well getting dropped down. The auto turrets trying to help deal with these siege tanks, but Blue Flame Hellbat are not quite enough just yet. Dropping directly onto the tanks is a much better choice as KeeN pushes back KeeN.
Whoa. All right, Polt.
Oh, I guess I said KeeN, didn't I?
Yeah. I mean, Hyun already is out, you know, still is lingering. He is unstoppable, he unforgettable, for sure. But, you know, what would you say that was successful for Polt, or was it just kind of like, it at least wasn't a total disaster?
He definitely did not accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. There was no real disruption of mining. He didn't get any particularly large kills on tanks. I mean, in total, there technically was 4 SCV kills throughout the entirety of this game. The majority of the damage was in those Hellbats. There's a secondary minor push. I think this is more of a misrally. This has to be a misrally.
Oh, yeah, and he realizes it here.
There we go.
Like, whoa. Yeah, that's definitely a close call. Don't want to lose them for no reason, right? But maybe he's going to do something with them. I mean, at least the Marine's going to check when that fourth goes down.
Is he going to be doing anything with them? I mean, we've got a fusion core and 2 more starports on the way for Polt.
Yo. This is that transition, man. This is like age-old Polt habitation station like days. Frost,
time ago.
You know, it really was. But this has been his kind of way to deal with mech whenever he goes for bio. And instead of just dropping all over the place, he's just going to go for an army that can actually at least contest with, at least forcing siege things to unsiege. Where are they going?
Yeah, like I would be like, man, he's pulling the army out of position. But there's nothing else going on for KeeN, so he was just like, please don't chase me, please.
I just going out for a stroll, you know. They're trying to get a nice, like a cruise, just chilling.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, battle cruiser production has begun. Polt is going to be showing us some flashy moves. He is going to be showing us some style.
Yep. And oh boy, I love this style here because like usually what happens is the mech player pushes out and they're like, all right, here we go, I got a sick mech army, and then it's like pew 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 out of nowhere, forced to unsiege. But the one little not criticism, I guess, but maybe, I don't know, I'm not a TVT expert, but doesn't it feel like the air control from KeeN, he didn't really hold on to it. Polt was able to catch up, and he's going to have battle cruisers with it.
Not to mention, for the current moment, we do have the upgrade advantage leaning towards KeeN. So while he doesn't have air superiority, he does have a potential to do some pretty good damage. Of course, battle cruisers are not out in scary numbers just yet. He's definitely going to know that they're here, even if his scans didn't reveal that earlier. A lot of the bio getting taken out, but that's not the threat that KeeN really needs to worry about. Pretty much all of his air armada is getting shredded by Polt.
Yep. That air control is now belonging to Polt, but the siege on the third of Polt, taking out a lot of the workers there. But, I mean, that's a lot of army that's being lost here for KeeN. Is there Yamato cannon? I don't believe so. But the Thors are actually might be able to take out these battle cruisers, which is really, really good here, especially because he totally lost that air battle. Okay, just kidding.
Well, that's the nice thing about Polt, is he's still got that little bit of bio production. 4 Marauders, 3 Marines at a time, just that extra bit of, you know, ground-based DPS to help him deal with this mech army. He needs to save this third. He had to cancel his fourth at the beginning of that engagement, and he had to pull a couple of SCVs away, so he definitely needs to get his economy back online. The other command center up to the north is also being canceled, as unfortunately for Polt, he just cannot move past this third base.
No. He's tried to before, but like this is a crazy position here set up by KeeN. Even like these Widow Mines there, I'm waiting for that to go off, you know, Polt. I don't know if he still has his Raven. I believe that he does not. No, he doesn't. So
hopefully he notices them.
Yeah.
Or maybe he can bait them out with like Marines or something. But yeah, that is 6 Widow Mines, and if they get to detonate on a couple of battle cruisers, that would definitely be nice. I know someone actually qualified or was playing a qualifier match for WCS EU, going basically mass Widow Mine versus Zerg, and this guy KeeN, he's like, hey, that sounds pretty cool.
I mean, it could work. You can see them when they're burrowed, but like,
it should work. It should not versus Polt.
I mean, well, look, he's about to go over them.
Oh!
But he's still going to take a lot of damage here.
That was a fair amount of damage just done right there. A lot of the Vikings ended up going down. He did not. That rascal. KeeN's too good.
But that's a lot of to trade out for. I mean, I guess Widow Mines are not that expensive, but they don't really one-shot the Marines and Marauders like they do to Lings. Or a group of mutas flying over them, if that was, yeah.
True.
Sometimes some units are just too fast for their own good, you know? Marauders and Vikings and such, they move at a decent pace where you're able to realize it before it's too late.
Yeah, because even if you realize it, you know, as you were kind of referencing there, if you're inside of that circle of death, it don't even matter. It doesn't matter.
But this really is, like, look at this... some crazy Venn diagram that's probably going to be analyzed later on.
The 4-sensor tower Venn diagram.
I wouldn't even. That's a headache to even think about. Yeah.
What a very interesting game. We're casters. Everything has to be interesting. 3 battle cruisers.
Are you serious? That A-pool, that Hyundai, I call that straight up like, this is so dumb.
that was awesome though.
It was
because
great.
It worked.
Yeah,
you know the phrase, if it's stupid and it works, then it's not stupid?
Exactly.
Have you heard that? Like I
have heard it.
It's a stupid build. Stupid, but it worked, so it's not stupid.
Like, that would rustle so many jimmies, like...
I love how Polt he's got 3 battle cruisers out on the field. He's like, I better get you a Mata Cannon, and then continuing just bio. He's just pumping out
straight
bio.
up. He hasn't made another battle cruiser. They seem to just be... there for that siege-breaking capability. You know, he's not going mass battle cruiser and says, okay, because mass Viking would actually probably be the best, or not the best, but I mean, like, it would kind of wreck it.
Widow Mines! Some pretty nice splash, taking out a couple of Marauders. Again, they're not
Drilling Claw's done now, too.
Chainlings. Yeah, he did indeed get that, just to give that extra bit of power to his Widow Mines, or extra bit of survivability. Battlecruiser is getting caught out in the open. It does fire off, and Polt going for just about a 360-degree surround. Vikings forming one of the angles, and this is so much wasted supply in the air.
Yeah, that looked like so cool, the way that he came into that, but he's not able to take out the Vikings, but I mean, that was KeeN's standing army. And...
Vikings add that extra bit of DPS on the ground, but they're so bad in large numbers versus, like, anything else. Yep. I guess not versus workers. They're probably, like, all right.
Really sick and harassing, but you got Marauders that have, like, +3/+3.
Which they soon will.
Oh, they will, and they're ready to blow some stuff up, man. They're about to show a whole lot of love to the few units that KeeN does have. Although it is a lot of siege tanks here. I don't think Polt realizes how many are on the high ground.
He needs to make sure that he's splitting. He needs to get those Marauders up close and personal. Medevacs would be healing if they could survive. Those Vikings are doing something, and now they will be able to survive a little bit longer to deal with the very, very low HP, almost overstimmed units of Polt.
Yeah, and he lost a lot of his army here, and yep, you're gonna lose the rest of it right on there, and KeeN has a really, I'm gonna say healthy tank count, but it's only up to 5, it looks like. Or 8 that are coming out.
Some serious damage, but again, the Vikings just ripping through all of those medevacs, and Stimmed Bio is great. It really is a wonderful, you know, unit composition, but if your Stimmed Bio is basically dead, and it's got no medevacs, then it's a kind of dead unit composition. As Polt is going to be running up towards the main base of KeeN. KeeN looking to drop some Hellbats, but they're going to get snapped up nice and easy. Vikings going to be showing up. They're the only quick-ish units for KeeN, dropping more tanks into the middle of this bio ball, and KeeN somehow doesn't quite have enough until the Vikings land and the siege tanks roll up.
Wow, but Polt just trying to trade as best as he can. He does have another base mining, and it's just like he's figuring out what he wants to do, you know, like... He doesn't have a supply lead when he did it, and he didn't kill any of the production. economy wasn't really touched. It just was kind of a trade, which is usually what Bio is perfectly fine with doing, I would assume, right? Like, KeeN's starting to look a little bit scarier.
It gets into that situation where almost, if you think about Zerg versus Mech, you have to be able to win it at some point. You can't just trade forever because the efficiency of Mech will show in its prowess. And Polt, as you mentioned, he hasn't been able to get any real value. He snapped up a couple of units here, eliminated a couple of tanks, a couple of Hellbats, but no big worker kills, no big production shutdown.
No. And he just kind of goes around the map, checking around to see where is weak, and takes a nice shelling from a siege tank, and gonna catch a Hellbat, but it's only 100 minerals there.
Polt, that devious, sneaky fellow, trying to push in here while simultaneously establishing a hidden base in the northwest.
And a giant drop as well. 4 medevacs are over there.
They're going to potentially be heading directly into the main base. This is a fair amount of bio, and this is, of course, going to be exposing the weakness of Mech. The majority of the army for KeeN is down near the south, where the rest of Polt's army is. This could be the perfect play, but it won't necessarily be a game winner. He might have to fight the army at some point into the natural.
Well, there he goes. Polt dropping in both the main and the natural. There are tanks here. The Marauders are pretty good against them. They got the 3-3. Will he be able to get the one on the high ground? He does. And he just hasn't been able to really get any. What is he going for now? He just says the supply depots.
He's going for the fourth with his second bio ball. This army in the main is pretty much all but sacrificed. He's indeed going to be stepping up and trying to do damage in other areas. The tanks of KeeN are too good. Polt is trying to pull apart the Mech, make use of the mobility that Bio gives him, but the defenses, the static D, the unit pre-splitting, tanks here, tanks there, a few tanks everywhere for KeeN.
Yeah, Polt stopped his battle cruiser production. He's just going pure Bio. He doesn't even want to try to contest the sky because there are so many Vikings, but KeeN, he is mining from, I think it's 3 bases if you don't count the 2, the natural and the main, although the natural is still mining gas. But look at this, the armada. It's actually gonna be how many Vikings? So many Vikings here with Banshees with it.
Polt definitely cannot engage straight up, and this is the danger that you run into in TVT when you give up the air battle entirely. It actually kind of reminds me of when I Am Katowice, when Dark was going like super tons of corruptors and just slaughtering all the medevacs. Stimmed Bio just suddenly is far less effective. Polt maybe going for a bit of a counterattack as Siege Tank's going to be shelling Polt's fourth. He's going to be running up towards the 4th/5th of KeeN. Going to be able to snipe down the planetary foresters really quite quickly. Even with the surround, it's not nearly enough. This is the damage that Polt actually needs to do, but can he do any more than kill that one command center?
My God, the Banshees are following them. There's not a lot that can shoot up here. There are a few Marines, but they're the medevacs. I'm like, where the hell were they? And now they're going to heal all of those units up, but back on the south side, KeeN gonna lose all these siege tanks, actually. The Hellbats are killing stuff on the other side because Polt set up a decent flank, and now the tank count is dropping here for KeeN. KeeN is only on 36 workers at the moment, but they are on dead even army supply.
36 workers, but I guess one of the questions we always have to ask ourselves when there's a Terran, how many orbital commands? The number. Well, yeah, the number is 5 orbital commands for KeeN, so he is going to have quite a few mules to drop, and of course he's got them placed all over the map so he can replenish the lost CCs so quickly, shelling once again a base of Polt. Going to be able to clean that up. Polt, he's got, again, 2 groups of bio units, one in the north, one in the south. The south is considerably weak. But he's going to step up. He might be able to snipe another command center. He needs to deal with the tanks as well. He gets the command center, forces the lift off, and might be able to snap up some reinforcements as well. He cannot commit to this battle for too much longer. Once the tanks start shelling and the Banshees step in, he has to run.
And he's going to the bottom two. KeeN having to keep his army together, losing his defenses every time that he tries to. And this is it. Yeah, Polt is making something happen here. He's actually able to go and get damage done.
This is what he's been trying to do all game long. As soon as KeeN pulls to one side, he steps back in with the bio at the north, snapping up a couple of Hellbats, destroying another orbital command, shutting down mining in the north, in the south. And now he's going to be looking to engage right in the middle with those tanks, which aren't sieged up, and allowing his Marauders to actually trade relatively efficiently. Only Vikings and Banshees are left. There's not really any Marines, though, for Polt.
He's making 6 at a time. He just needs a way to deal with this cloaked Banshee threat. You know?
All right, Polt once again looking for those engagements. KeeN is hanging on by basically his air armada and well-positioned tanks. That is what's keeping him here in this game. Biostim nearly to death, a shell or two away from absolute destruction as Polt.
Yo, my goodness. This is one of those times where you do need a few more workers, I feel like. CM Storm's Polt is running out of juice here. He's been using a bit of his orbital commands for scans, and he just needs to be pumping out Marines because, or have a lot of turrets or something, because these Banshees, eventually, it's just procrastinating, you know, trying to run around them and just say, you know, I'll do it tomorrow, my homework, I don't really want to do it, and then all of a sudden it's the due date, and a bunch of Banshees show up to your class, and you don't have your homework.
He should know that. He was a university student until, like, just last year.
Oh,
I think it was, I think last year he, like, graduated or dropped out or something, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, I don't know if he...
I'm not sure.
No idea. But this is crazy because I really thought that you know, KeeN had this really unkillable position, unbreakable position, and Polt found a way to break KeeN and is able to actually be in this position right now. He just has to figure out how to cut it off for good, and KeeN has to figure out what it is that he wants to do. Is he only just trying to stabilize right now and then build up that army again? But
that's definitely the problem that KeeN has, is he's lost so many of those big expensive units while simultaneously losing so many of the bases, and it's like, okay, mules, they can mine minerals, but why do you need so many minerals as mech? They can't mine gas. It's not like mules go into the geysers. So many of these geysers are depleted. If you take a quick scroll around the map, it's just red geyser after red geyser. Empty refineries for both teams. Indeed,
yeah. It's so important to note that, as KeeN is not even showing signs of expanding again. He's just scanning everywhere looking. I don't even know if he's just doing it to be like, okay, is Polt trying to take a base so I can try to snipe it with Banshees, or just to reassure him. I mean, well, he's not going to do anything else with the mules. He just said that, right? So,
Banshees.
Whoa, they're gonna find the base?
They very well could.
Oh, they have.
They cut down. Wait, have they?
I mean, on this.
Oh yeah, they have. Yep, yeah, vision. I guess you could check that.
One turret, can it do it? Is it at building armor? Oh no, I don't think it did.
All right, Polt, is he going to try to defend this base? Because at the same time, this is the majority of the Banshees out of position. There's a total of 8 Banshees out on the field for KeeN. Most of them are up in the top left-hand corner. Polt skims forward. The tanks are unsieged. Can he snap enough of them up before they re-siege? Hellbat's going to be absorbing a couple of shots here, and a couple more going to be walking up. Polt getting absolutely destroyed there, but that's not the brunt of his army. And unfortunately for Polt, he has to deal with even more tanks already sieged, and of course with this planetary, the DPS is too much.
And losing that army is really big. He doesn't have the amount of anti-air. Finally, those Banshees are going to be able to contest possibly with what Polt has. He has 19 Marines, but he doesn't have the faith that he could win the game, apparently. So yeah, GG, man. What a game. Game number 1. That was crazy, man.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Cactus Valley. Once again, a 4-player macro potential map for these two awesome players. In the bottom right top side, in the top right side of Cactus Valley, we have the Cyan Terran player. This is
Prime Clan KeeN.
And in the bottom right side, he just played a fantastic game against another fantastic player who just was introduced, but he wants an introduction himself. He is the bottom right Blue Terran.
CM Storm Polt.
What a game, man. Wasn't I saying that? I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty excited to see these two players even more. Polt always seems to be in the game whenever an amazing TVT happens. And KeeN, like, showing that mech on Iron Fortress there, just dealing with the relentless assault that Polt was laying on him.
Yeah, that almost unbeatable just force that is mech. The Marine shows itself to Polt. If he was paying attention to the fact that his SCV just took some damage, he's like, all right, you're not going Reapers, so that does, again, kind of limit the options that he is going for. It's not like he could be going CC first and still have that Marine there.
Yep. KeeN gonna get in here too and sees that it is one gas into that. Oh, Reaper again. Does Polt make a second one once more? I mean, is he gonna go for something a little bit more standard?
Right into the
I don't know if
reactor.
that's the right word.
I mean, this is standard for Polt. We saw him do this versus Hart. We saw him do this, or basically this, versus Hart. And this is, you know, very, very similar to how he opened in the previous game. He does historically like to favor that CC a little bit earlier. Here, he's making the adjustment of, okay, I know where my opponent is. He knows where I am. I'm not going to go for that CC. I'm going to go for the 1-1-1. And I'm going to, of course, you know, get out some Hellions. KeeN, on the other hand, he's like, Banshees worked out pretty well last game. Let's do that again. I like that.
Yeah, the surprising part too is that wasn't KeeN the one to make Banshee second, and he like faked the Banshee, decided not to do it, and said, you know what, Banshees are a good idea. So he was on the fence and then realized that, yeah, they are pretty damn good, KeeN. Make Banshees, man.
They are a pretty good unit. I have heard people say. People on the Reddits seem to just really think that they're good units. So we'll have to trust them with that. Oh, there we go. Cloaking is on the way for KeeN.
And for Polt, he does have...
Engineering base starts immediately for Polt.
Mm-hmm. Did he actually see it yet, or he's just kind of timing it for a Banshee?
I think, yeah,
This
he's
makes me
just
think-
got that. I think he's just got that, like, star sense. He's like, all right, you opened up Marines. Well, I don't think he actually got confirmation there. No, he technically did not. His Reaper tried to jump in, but he does kind of know how KeeN opened up. He's going to be able to contrast that with the last game. Be like, all right, you played mech. It would make sense to open Banshees into mech at least a little bit, so.
Yeah. And I mean, just like, when you make a build, it's kind of... I would say you have to think of the possibility of Banshees. It's always one of those things you have to take into account and say, like, okay, well, I'm just going to do this Terran build, right? And if he doesn't go Banshees, then I'm going to be fine. But if he goes Banshees, I'm totally screwed, and you totally leave that part out. But this seems to be a fairly normal build out of Polt. But this out of KeeN, he's going to put on a little bit of pressure here. We're trying to get some of the anti-air killed here for Polt as well before the Banshee does come.
Polt has, of course, his Polt Viking, and as we said, he did drop down a couple of those missile turrets, or at least we inferred it. And this Banshee going to be doing that extra bit of damage. Polt dancing so nicely with his Hellions and his SCVs, just doing that repair dance. Unfortunately for Polt, he is now supply blocked.
Yeah, losing that supply depot did a little bit more damage, and who knows if KeeN realizes it, but that's...
What a hold! Cleans up absolutely everything. Loses far less than his opponent. I mean, it was three Hellions for both, but KeeN lost the Banshee. He lost 7 Marines as well. So that turned around in just a couple of moments, because Polt was like, maybe a couple of units are going to escape, and then Polt's like, no, nothing escapes. Everything dies.
Nothing. Everything dies. And the greatest part about it is that he completed his orbital command so much earlier here than KeeN. He's going to be able to start mining here. He's up to 27 workers, so even though he's down by a few workers just right now, he does have double mule, and he can get some better efficiency when he does mine here, because he does have that extra minimal patch to work, well, the minimal field to take advantage of.
Factory number 2 is going to be finishing up in mere moments for KeeN. In case there were any doubts, I guess maybe he's going for like super fast double factory, and then he's going to totally go bio. But very likely to see KeeN move towards mech in this game. Once again, he's favoring a fair number of Hellions, currently 4, but the promise of Blue Flame indicates that he is going to want more than just those 4.
Oh, yes, indeed. And will he drop an armory with it, too, eventually? I just, see the Blue Flame Hellions being able to do quite a bit of damage, even in just Hellion form. So we'll see how he does it. I think he's going to be going into that mech once again, though. He did add that factory, so... Well. He is Cactus Valley again, so another 4-player map. This could work out pretty well if it does go to that late game.
The spawn positions being entirely different We'll have to see who they end up favoring, because certainly there are a couple of attack paths that can be easily shut down and locked up by some siege tank placements, which we saw by KeeN. He wasn't doing anything too suicidal like pulling all of his units over. He was always leaving tanks clumped up just for that defense.
And there was even a point where he started splitting up his Viking Banshee fleet. So, yeah, I love that, being able to deal with so many different things at the same time and not falling into that trap, especially on such a big map, where you just take your whole army and you just go all the way to one side, and then, you know, you lose something on another side, and then you're like, oh, gotta go save that. But by the time you get there, it's already dead, and it's like, okay.
That almost happened, but as you say, it didn't happen, and that is the mark of a player like KeeN. He's starting to power out quite a few Banshees, but for now, guys, Polt is indeed keeping up in the numbers, so maybe Polt kind of learned his lesson. He's like, all right, I'm going to stay on top of the homework this time, this semester.
Yeah, very important. I feel like getting that air control is so important. KeeN let Polt get it back, but then Polt never really capitalized on that and allowed KeeN to just get it back again. So, I mean, I don't blame him because of the resources that he was sending into all of that harass, but it's just one of those situations where I never thought Polt would see that air control ever again, and he did end up catching up, but he just didn't hold on to it.
Definitely some nice moves by Polt in the previous game. KeeN continuing to lead by workers, at least for now. But the question always is about that third command center. It's just going to be morphing into an orbital for KeeN. Polt, on the other hand...
Polt didn't make a third command center. He stopped CV production completely.
You just about read my mind with where I was going there. Polt's starting to move forward. He's going to open up the additional attack path, which is more of just like an additional attack shortcut, because it's not like... I mean, you could just walk around.
Yeah, but who wants to walk around that cactus field, you know? It's way too much. Like, it's like all the way out, and you got to go around it, and he has to go right on through it, push on through, get right to where he needs to be.
Keep in mind, there is a 4 Hellion drop on the right side. These could be turned into Hellbats very easily, and then Polt would have something very dangerous to deal with inside of his base.
Yes. And if Polt is so concerned and worried about doing this damage, he might not realize it, and here it goes. Those are Blue Flame Hellions here, Cybert.
5 worker kills thus far. Marauder's going to be stemming back to deal with this. A little bit of shelling going on the north side as Polt does deal with that quite nicely. Loses a lot of mining time for it, though. His third CC going to be finishing up in just a couple of moments. Quite a while behind that of his opponent.
Yep. Polt trying to make something happen here, but he actually might be able to. He has 3 siege tanks left. If he can get any shots off of... He doesn't have the vision? Is that what it is? Or he's just not in range?
Not the vision. He was getting shelled a little bit there. Sacrificial medevac by KeeN just runs it into the forces of Polt. Unfortunately, there for KeeN. I don't think that medevac wasn't doing anything. A little bit of a remnant of an age past as KeeN is going to be moving out to secure his 3rd expansion. He is up 4 tanks over Polt. Now, those numbers can change hands very quickly, but for the time being, KeeN is looking to have a nice army advantage.
Yeah, Polt had to deal with both of those situations at once, and wasn't able to get much done. This is the same kind of thing that happened on Iron Fortress, where he tried to get a good contain on or anything, and it didn't work out. Now look at KeeN, already mining from his 3rd. He has his gases already complete, while Polt is just about to land it. This is so much of a harder map, so much harder of a map, rather, to get those attacks going on.
A couple of Hellions getting caught a little bit out of position. Polt picks up some nice kills there, getting himself a couple more Hellions. And of course, that's always nice because you shut down those counterattack potentials. Your 3rd base is a bit more exposed than, say, your main or your natural. So obviously, KeeN would love to be shutting that stuff down. Drop going to be loading up in kind of the on the right side of the map. But there's like a million Vikings just waiting for it. And by a million, like 6 or 7.
And they're all gonna, shoot at that medevac. Just no chance in hell. No chance. But KeeN still holds on to that solid worker lead.
Tempo. Check that production tab.
Yeah, we might see it again.
Nice catch of these Hellions
really
as
sick catch.
well.
Yeah.
Polt has just got, like, the star sense for killing stray Hellions.
He really does. And... yeah,
so are we going to see the, like, fake transition into battle cruisers again, or is he going to commit? The difference being in this particular game, Polt has been ahead on Vikings for the last couple of minutes. The drop in the main by KeeN.
Yep. It was the Vikings.
Yeah.
The Vikings came over, realized that the Vikings of Polt were a little bit split up, and he was able to take that Viking lead by picking off a few. So
actually, Polt is still up by 1 Viking over KeeN in a kind of a weird way. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So maybe that was kind of the difference, right? Because the battle cruisers helped Polt in the previous game make up for the difference in the Vikings. He was able to get out that extra bit of DPS, deal with the ground army a little bit easier. So maybe that will be kind of the advantage that leads him to a stronger, mid to late game. Unlike the previous game where he was like, "Hey, battle cruisers," just kidding.
Yeah, and then he never made a single one ever again. Like, don't you tell anybody I ever made that unit, I swear. It's like, it wasn't me.
First 2 on the way. Battle cruiser hype, boys and girls.
Yes, and it's at that time once again where KeeN is pushing. I think this happened at the same time. The tanks got there, and then it was like, oh my God, battle cruisers, are you serious, bro? What are you, like, Bronze League? Like, no, Polt, it's actually a really good way to break the siege line, and if you don't have that air control, they soak up a little bit of that damage and allow you to kind of trade as best as you can, but is it going to work out here?
This is like a super choke for KeeN. We do have still... oh no, the Viking has technically... the Viking numbers have technically slipped into the favor of KeeN. I think a couple of those Vikings might actually be back home, so on the attacking front, the advantage may still be going to Polt. Of course, I don't actually... wait a second. KeeN technically hasn't scouted the fusion core, so all the scans...
once again.
It's possible that he does not know just yet.
But Polt can't take too much damage here, if he can clean this up and really turn it in his favor.
All right, Polt going to be moving forward with the battle cruisers, looking to deal that damage. Nice focus fire by the Vikings of KeeN to eliminate the battle cruisers really quite quickly, stop them from really doing anything, while the Hellions trying to deal with stuff on the ground. Polt not reacting really at all. He's partially focused on moving his actual army into a potential counterattack position.
Yep.
He's kind of floundering here as Polt is going to have to break a lot of Hellions. He's going to have to break a lot of siege tanks, stimming in from the back, landing his Vikings to distract the remainder of the tanks and provide something else to shoot at as his Bio is trying to get in a good position to actually deal with these tanks. There's the pickup into the medevacs, can drop directly on top of these siege units to deal with them more effectively.
Oh, man. Polt is barely holding, but he is losing a lot here, and he might even lose a bit more with these Blue Flame Hellions going over to the third. Pulling away those SCVs in time, though. Oh, but he's pulling them back. Oh, he realized it.
Tempo, my heart is skipping a beat in these KeeN versus Polt games.
It's so crazy, man. Like, I don't even know. I'm like, this game might end right now, but it didn't. And now Polt is back. He's equal on workers. He has an equal amount of base. No, he has more. I know equal amount of bases, but his other one is on the bottom left. It is a ninja one once again. So, but he lost the battle cruisers again, and he lost the air control, and he's not going for it again.
Once again, he's just transitioning pretty much immediately into that bio. Once again, KeeN setting up kind of in between the natural and the third. It's more of an awkward position because he's not right where he would like to be, but this is still a lot of tanks raining down death. Marauders trying to step forward to deal with this, and he'll have just enough to break through this attack.
Wow, and he does it, and a few more Marauders that are basically just crawling at this point. And Viking of KeeN does live as well. So he's only up to 3 Vikings, but Polt, I don't know how he's doing it, but he is just barely holding, going into these siege tanks with a lot of Marauders, and you think that he's just going to get obliterated, but he ends up holding it, or at least killing it, trading all of those siege tanks out from Marauders, which I'm sure that he's happy to do. It's just, he wants to have a really favorable trade so that he can put some pressure on of his own.
KeeN is not letting up the aggression, though. He's once again reforming. These small groups of units are mostly all that he has, and just barely every time Polt is hanging on. I don't know that he can take too many more of those, like, almost efficient engagements. He's just, in the long run, almost losing out. But somehow, managing to just stay ahead. KeeN's starting to just scan random parts of the map. He's like, all right, where's your base?
Yeah. Well, I feel like Polt getting that other base, he can continue to trade, but KeeN also got a base too, so he knows that his army is a lot stronger when it is all together and it's actually a big number of units rather than just trickling them out and letting them die to the small groups of units that Polt has. But he just doesn't want Polt to breathe. That's pretty much what it is. He says, you know what, I'm going to continue to just put the pressure on.
KeeN has figured out where the base of Polt is. He's going to be harassing with a couple of Hellions as these Hellbats step forward. Tanks going to be sieging up as well, again in that awkward position. Lots of SCVs starting to go down in the bottom left-hand corner, but this attack at the front is far more where Polt needs to be focusing. He's got units out in the middle of the map in an awkward position. Once again, Hellbat's going to be sieging up towards that natural with the tanks in support. Polt waiting for the full strength of his army before he stims in. Here's the big push. Polt needs to make this defense happen, closing in again from two angles at once, from the main, from the kind of third location as well, and he's going to be able to break through once more. The forces of KeeN. Mech is falling, but can he deal with the reinforcement waves?
That is so crazy that he's able to do it. He just continues to do it, but he lost every single worker at his other base, so there is no other follow-up here for Polt. Starting to run dry a bit here in his natural as well as his main. His third base is looking okay though, but it's just the fact that he had to lift that up over, and KeeN hasn't had to budge at all. He has been mining from every one of his bases. Polt has done nothing in the form of drop harass, in the form of banshees, in the form of anything. He's just been on the defensive, which is something that you would think that, you know, it's like as a bio player against Mech, you let them able to be in this position. You've seen better days, my friend.
Once they establish those turret rings, it suddenly becomes a whole lot more difficult to put on that aggression that you would have maybe liked to do. Polt is going to be kind of scouting that KeeN is indeed going for another base in the north. Polt needs to stop the attack that's once again at his doorstep. Steps down, takes a couple of shots towards the Hellbats, but again, part of his army is up looking to assault KeeN.
Well, I think KeeN has found the ultimate position right in between the natural and the third here for Polt. He wants to go even deeper though, maybe perhaps get on the production at some point. Polt does not have a sandwich of units, but he does have a few units inside of the main here, and he's going for the production, so yeah, he's not able to sandwich the units of KeeN here. You know, he let him get into his main, so it's like almost a full-on base race at this point, but Polt does not have a lot of units inside of the main of KeeN.
It's definitely going to be awkward as more tanks going to be sieging up. Polt has to kind of step backwards away from the tanks of KeeN. He has so few units left. Picking up into the medevacs is not what you want when there's so many turrets. KeeN's mech is just so solid.
It really is, and he is just getting to the production of Polt at the moment. Polt has been cleaned up in the main. Can he come around the corner and do it? That doesn't look like a very fearsome bioforce here from Polt. But he's making it
just enough to hold on in the past, but now it's just not enough. KeeN standing strong, almost doubling the army supply, more than doubling the worker count of Polt, and Polt down 0-1 in the losers match of Group C for ASL Prime Season 5, round of 16. This may be where his story ends.
It just could be, you know, down by more than half of the supply. Hoping out a little bit more, but here comes some more Hellions. They shouldn't be able to do too much, but the Hellbats coming around the other side should be able to help out. And at this point, it is basically just trading against somebody that has nothing more to trade. And GG is going to be called. KeeN advances here to the final chance match.